Good morning, everybody. We're back again. And believe it or not, we're just as happy about this show as we hope you are. We love doing this. It's once a week we come in for 2 hours and just have a ball. We act normal, natural, honest, transparent, and say whatever we want to say. We try to tell the truth. And what reminded me about that was the disclaimer that you just heard from the station, and said that the Vic Canales Media Group absolves themselves of any responsibility of what we say on this show. I kind of chuckle when I hear that. I don't blame the radio station, the company, for being dubious. I mean, you put several people in a studio on a live mic, and you're talking to tens of thousands of people, and you just kind of wonder what they're going to say. So we have to control what we say, and our control is called truth. Yeah. Truth is the perfect defense against libel and slander, and that's what a lot of radio stations are afraid of. Somebody shoots their mouth off. That's the reason you don't see too many live shows, because sometimes you accidentally say something stupid, and I probably have, and I probably will, but there has to be intent, and we always try to tell the truth, and the proof is in the pudding. The proof is we've been doing this show for about 20 years. Now think about that. 52 shows a year times 20 years, that's a lot of shows. 2 hours a show. It used to be an hour, but still, we've probably been on the air for for days. If you add all the hours together, days and days. And during all that time, nobody has sued either the radio station or us. And I should knock on wood when I say that. I mean, you can sue anybody for anything, but I think what happens when car dealers and car sales managers and salespeople and others out there that hear what we're talking about and saying about them, they probably get angry and they say, I'm going to sue that guy. So they call their lawyer, and the lawyer says, what did they say? And your salesman or the manager or the dealer owner will say, they said this. Well, is there any truth to that? Now they start to back off a little bit. And then they hem and haw, and then I think here's the real thing that scares car dealers from suing us, because they know that I would demand, if they were going to sue me, I would demand a jury trial. I would demand all the publicity we could get. I'm a real ham, as you know. That's the reason we do this radio show. And the truth would come out in the trial. Car dealerships don't need the truth. They need opaqueness as opposed to transparency. So here we are. We're going to take your questions, your comments. We have a lot of avenues to do that. Our most popular is our telephone, the old-fashioned telephone. And that is 877-960-9960. If you haven't called the show before, or if you haven't heard the show before, give us a call. Maybe you want to listen for a little while and see what's going on, but basically we're here, as the recorded introduction said, to help you avoid being taken advantage of when you buy or lease a car, or you're maintaining or repairing your car. Car dealerships are notorious for lack of transparency and unfair and deceptive trade and sales practices, advertising, bait and switch. So if that's happened to you, we'd love to have you listen. We'd love to have you call the show. If you haven't got time to call now, why don't you write this number down? 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. Now, we've only got 5 lines coming into the station. Nancy Stewart, my co-host, is sitting on my left. She's also my wife, and we've been doing this for 20 years. We got together and founded this show 20 years ago. And it started out as a half hour, and now it's all the way up to 2 hours, and we have a big, big following. So Nancy will give you priority treatment if you're going to call 877-960-9960. We like to hear your voice. We like your personality comes through. We have some amazing regular callers, but we want some new callers too. We like to have people that haven't called the show before. And we won't put you on the spot. We won't embarrass you. You say what you want to say, and you don't say what you don't want to say. And we'd love to hear your personal experiences about buying or leasing cars, maintaining or repairing cars. If you have a car dealership you'd like to recommend, this isn't all negativity on this show. We have a recommended dealer list that we are trying to build every week. And we put the names, locations of the dealers that will give you a fairer, a more fair treatment than other dealers. So, recommend a dealer. Hey, if you had a great service experience or sales experience, call the show at 877-960-9960. Of course, vice versa. If you had a terrible experience, let's hear about that too. We name names, we name dealerships, we name sales managers and salesmen. In our mystery shopping report, which is, I think, the highlight of the show. My son, Stu Stewart, he's sitting right across in the studio from me. He just waved at me. He's our cyber master guy. He manages our undercover agent Lightning, and dispatches her to various locations around the country. She's back in Florida, by the way. She's been in Pennsylvania, and she's been in Tennessee, and she's been Michigan, I think. She's been all over the place. But she's back in Florida. And we have a slam bang doozy of a mystery shopping report locally, right here in Palm Beach County.
Right down the road here.
Yeah, just right, very close, within a few minutes of the studio. So, Stu's in charge of that. And he's also more on top of the day by day happenings at the dealership, which is. We have a dealership in full transparency. We are car dealers. This is a consumer advocacy show. This is not an infomercial. I repeat, this is not an infomercial. I hate infomercials, and we see them too often. They disguise themselves as information, but they're really commercials. We are not that, I promise you. But we do have a Toyota dealership. I feel like I need to tell you that because I think it's an asset. It's a benefit. Having been there and done that, I've been a car dealer since 1968. I mean, I was right down in the trenches where the worst of the worst, and I've changed the way I do business. But I know how they did because I probably passed along a few dirty tricks to a lot of dealers out there.
You were a pioneer back then, like you are a pioneer now.
I was a pioneer thief.
You're going the other way, though.
Now I'm a pioneer consumer advocate. What will be my next career? I don't know. Anyway, I'm yakking and I get carried away. If you call the show, Nancy Stewart will make me stop talking, make Rick or Stu, whoever's talking, stop and get to your telephone call, 877-960-9960. Now, Nancy's going to tell you about a super special offer for you ladies out there that have not called the show before. We know you're listening, but we want you to call, and she has got a doozy of an offer for you, and she's going to tell you about it right now.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Before I get to that, I have a special announcement to make this morning. You know, Earl and I do an international sunrise every single morning, and if you don't know, you should tune in, and it's a whole lot of fun. But my point here is
That's on Facebook, right? Facebook.
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
My point here is that we always sing happy birthday to someone, and everyone is special. But this morning we forgot, and right now I would like to wish Maggie Stewart a very special happy birthday.
Aww.
She turns 20 years old today, I believe.
That's right.
And that is Stu's daughter.
No longer a teenager. Oh, my God.
She's
Our granddaughter.
2-0. Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's really kind of hard to believe. And I know she's not listening, but Stu can pass along to her that we do wish her
We could send her the
a
video clip.
magnificent birthday. 20 years old. What an age.
Spending it in Manhattan.
Yes.
I'm going up
Okay.
next week to see her, by the way. So.
Okay, back to the show. As Earl mentioned earlier, I do have a special offer for the ladies, and that's $50 for the first two new lady callers. That's $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. And ladies, did you know that a lot of shoppers hesitate to buy online? They feel that they really need to go into the dealership. And honestly, the only time you need to go in is when you want to test drive that car that you chose. And by buying online, it opens up an enormous range of options for you. So we have a lot of information as you tune in and stay with us the next 2 hours. We cover everything. We've got the Mystery Shopping Report. We've got the latest blog. We're going to talk about car insurance. There's just a lot of interesting things that'll pique your interest. So stay with us, 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And please don't forget youranonymousfeedback.com. And we have something special from Big Dog Ranch that I came across this morning. And you want to stay tuned for that at 9:30. It is a story that'll tug at your heart. And it is just an amazing story. And it just proves wholeheartedly what Big Dog Ranch does. They're an amazing organization. Again, that number is 877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go right to the phones. We have Howard holding, and he is a regular caller. Good morning, Howard.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Well, first of all, it's not the regular Howard. This is the new Howard.
The new
yeah.
Howard.
You're the new Howard.
Sorry, old
Yeah,
Howard.
I know.
We'll call you Howie.
I know you have a regular Howard. The only reason I was calling is just a suggestion. Did you ever think about mystery shopping Earl Stewart Toyota?
Earl
We
did
do.
yesterday.
We do that.
We
yeah,
do.
I shopped Earl Stewart Toyota yesterday. Yeah, so we do that regularly. It's I keep telling the dealers that we mystery shop that hate us, I'm doing you a favor. You should do this yourself, because a lot of these owners just don't know what's going on in the trenches until you send somebody in to pretend to buy a car, or have them call, or have them text, and see the way people are really treated. Until you do that, you don't know what's going on in your own store.
Well, good. Yeah, good for you, because I thought that was kind of obviously it couldn't be Agent Lightning. So what were the grades?
Poor. But not for what you might, not for the typical things, but definitely not giving information as quickly as we ask them to, and not explaining the difficulty getting some of the limited availability vehicles in a way that is the way we teach them to explain it.
In a nutshell, I texted the store in the morning before 9 a.m., and by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I hadn't got a reply. So it's just, I got an automated reply, but I didn't have a human reply. Anyway, listen, our dealership is got faults and problems. Every business does. And I don't care whether it's a restaurant, a retail store, whether you're going into, even Costco makes mistakes. So you just have to accept that. And what separates the good stores, the good retailers, from the bad retailers, or the good retailers make mistakes, but they apologize, they try to make them right, and they ask for input from people. So there are no perfect dealers, and we certainly aren't one.
And I'll tell you what, Howard, this guy sitting next to us, he keeps us all on our toes. And you know what we believe in at the dealership? That is Kaizen, continuous improvement.
Well, does 4 mean that's an A? Is that the top 4?
Pardon me?
Pardon me?
Is the score 4 the top score?
Oh, 4? No, we don't do a numerical score. We just do just the grade score.
And the last thing, that's what I said. I'm assuming you got all that. The last thing is there any chance, because I listen to it when I'm in my car, and I sporadically all the time, but if I came in and asked one of you guys, Stuart, whatever. If I paid you guys to go to a dealership with me to help, if you guys do it.
I'll be honest with you, we can't. We'd be spread too thin. We have 20 or 30,000 people listening. We have the best way to get advice from us if you don't call the show would be to text us or email us, and you can do that. And we be honest with you, we sometimes fall behind on that too. But we help. We call people and text them and email them as best we can. But we're getting pretty big, and that's the reason we have the blog. I would recommend this. I've been writing this blog, earloncars.com. Just go to your online website, earloncars.com, and I have covered virtually every topic about buying, leasing, maintaining, or repairing a car. We have a nice search engine on that, so if you're going to lease a car, or if you're going to finance, you're worried about trading in a car, if you're worried about any specific thing about buying, leasing, maintaining, or repairing a car, put it in the search engine, and you'll probably find a half dozen or more blog articles that will address your question.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but
Hey, Howard, yes, you're welcome to take up more of our time, but let me mention this to you. You said you listen to us. Have you heard me mention Earl's Vigilantes?
No.
No? Well, you can go to Earl on Cars and you can join Earl's Vigilantes. And it's just a matter of helping others that are going to purchase a car.
And getting help. And receiving help, too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really a great way to help not only others, but somebody in your neighborhood, and you don't have to know how to, take an engine apart. So if you're interested, you can go to Earl's Vigilantes, that's Earl on Cars, and take a look.
All right. And the last thing is two things. One, I agree with you. Napleton's the worst. I bought a 2013 hardtop convertible. The service is terrible, but that's beside the point. I have a 72 Datsun 240Z and an 87 Mercedes. And nobody wants to work on old cars anymore. Not the Datsun, but the Mercedes. I'll call you separately. I don't want to take up the time, but unless you know anybody that likes to still work on old cars.
I know Rick. Rick's got a little talent for that. Sometimes. No. He doesn't like Datsuns.
We have a guy at the shop named Javad.
Yeah.
Who loves German cars.
Yeah.
Loves BMWs. But me, I speak Toyota.
I've had the same mechanic for 35, 40 years, loyal, honest, but he's retiring, and nobody, it's tough to get parts. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. You do
Thanks,
a great
Howard.
service, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
The new Howard.
New Howard.
The new
Thanks.
Howard.
Okay, we are going to go to Jersey Mike, who is a regular caller. Good morning, Mike.
Hi there. Great show again, as usual. I really, really appreciate it. And I have a friend of mine who's listening, not here, but he's traveling now. And he has a BMW, and believe it or not, it was bought here in South Florida, and I advised him against doing that. And he didn't buy from the BMW ideally. He bought it from somebody who sells sports cars, okay?
Uh-huh.
In any case, he put $6,800 or more dollars into that over the period of the last, I'd say, 4 months, and
You're
he's only
kidding.
probably driven it for about a week to 2 weeks at tops during all that time, and it's still sitting at that location. Are there any state regulations that I maybe could quote to tell him to go investigate, because he's actually being taken very much advantage of? And right now, the car, the hood is open, even when it rained. We all have parts laying right there on the side, on the parking lot.
That's crazy. It's an independent used car dealer?
Yes.
That sold it to him?
They're right down there by the airport.
I don't. I mean, just selling a car that breaks down after the fact. I mean, that's there's no law there that protects you, unless
What about the fraud? What about the fraud that you're committing?
I mean, you can speak to a lawyer, but usually a lawyer's going to tell you you're not going to have
Okay.
much of a case.
All right. Okay. I just wanted to
But
double check
if something was done during the transaction or prior that did violate any laws, like if things were illegally misrepresented or they broke any regulations, that type of thing, it could be worth exploring. But if he went there and they said, "Here's the car
Yeah.
and it's this much money," he paid for it,
know.
and it's as is, and he leaves,
I
he
figured,
doesn't
yeah,
have
yeah,
recourse.
yeah.
He doesn't have
Well,
recourse.
one thing they put in a water pump for him, and it didn't even need a water pump. All it needed was the nipple that connected that. Because I'm a motorhead. I go back to the 60s, okay?
Yeah.
I used to race Corvettes and all of that stuff. When they were Corvettes, I mean, unless you want to pay over $100,000 today. Anyway, let's go back to his situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I know motors. I know what's going on. And I told him, why did you spend $875 for a plastic water pump when you could have? I showed him to him on the phone. I said, at Rock Auto, you can get like a steel one. Rock Auto will get you a steel one for $365.
He's not a motorhead, is he?
No, he's not. He doesn't
Well,
know
yeah.
anything
So if you
about
said
it.
that to me, I'd looked at you cross-eyed. I'm like, I did what? What did I do wrong? Rick wouldn't make that mistake, but some of us
Let me go
would.
to another. Yeah, let me go to another topic, which is very much of interest to me. I'm a big supporter of Big Dog Ranch, and I'm a veteran of Vietnam era. And there's a gentleman out there that runs one of the buildings, and he's a veteran. And I already adopted one dog for this friend of mine who's having that problem with the BMW for him because he lost the dog, so he's brokenhearted, and I got him another dog out there, and he's just very happy. It's almost like it's better than a wife for him, unfortunately, but that's what it is. Okay, he doesn't have a wife. And I just want to know, what is she going to talk about at 9:30? And the reason why I'm going to ask that is because the last time she talked about something, I ran out there. By the time I got there, because from where I live, it was already adopted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You didn't give him a deposit?
No,
I'm kidding.
Somebody else picked.
Yeah. What happened? Did you call them ahead of time or any chance and say
No, I just got in the car.
Probably just bad luck.
Nonchalantly, and I ended up out there like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was already gone.
Oh, was it a
That's all
puppy?
right. They got a lot of dogs out there that need help, and a lot of people may not know this, but I think that's the only no-kill shelter.
That's why we're with them
in the United States.
I don't know if it's whole the United States. I think it's definitely Florida, but
Okay.
But I can definitely search that and find out because that would be a good. That's a great bragging point
And
because.
let me say one other thing.
Yeah.
Being a veteran, if you are, and you go out there, make sure you let them know you are. I'm talking to your audience now, because when you do that, anything that you help out with by adopting one will be 50% off the normal price of that adoption. And
That's
then
right.
you're also going to get a dog that's been totally taken care of. It has a chip in it in case it gets lost. It's going to be groomed. It's going to have all its inoculations, and you're going to get paperwork
Be neutered.
to document all of that.
You'll get an entire
think
pack
it's
with
a
all
great
the
deal.
entire
Hang
the veterinarian history and everything. They are.
And they got
incredible.
a lot of dogs out there.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
dogs.
A whole lot.
So
And there's
anyway.
even more right now, Mike, due to the fact that Lori just brought in a bunch of dogs from Texas and a few other places.
Oh,
And I
really?
have a story
Wow.
coming up at 9:30 that you'll be interested in. Mike, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I am backed up with phone calls.
Let me just say one thing quick. I had a 69 Corvette that I knew. I'm a motorhead, so I really worked. It did 0 to 60 in 4.0 seconds, so it moved. Why do these people buy $130,000 or $140,000 Corvette today, brand new, and it's not standard shift? There's no fun there, I don't think.
Because it looks like a spaceship.
I
I don't know. I mean, yeah. There's
You're
very
right, you're
few
right.
standard. Yeah, very few handshakers left.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's not
Listen,
fun.
I appreciate your show. You do a great job. Keep it up. Oh, I know one last question.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of advertising on this station for Kia up in Orlando. Is that worthwhile going up there and see what they got going on?
I
I don't think
know.
we shopped the Kia Orlando, so I can't say.
You don't know.
That's a
Okay,
long
well,
way
I'll go there
to go to
and
buy.
I'll
There's so
give
many
you a
Kia
report.
dealers.
Right. You know, they have a disclaimer on the show saying they don't necessarily espouse the views of the shows. We can't necessarily espouse the advertisements on the station.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right,
We'll
got
have
you.
to
All
look
right.
into that, Mike. This is
Yeah, I
serious
appreciate
right now. I just lost 2 of my new female callers.
Oh, geez.
We got to go.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike. We'll talk to you next week.
Good morning. Feels like afternoon. Yikes. Bob from Lake Park, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How you doing today?
Doing good.
Good. I think new Howie, if he wants somebody to go shopping with him at the dealership, he should get Marty to do that.
Marty's would probably take up a little too much time. That new Howie, I don't think he wants to stay there for 12 hours. That's Marty's technique. I think is to wait him out.
It's always a good idea to have someone with you, even if you're savvy and you know how to buy and negotiate and all that. It's always good to have another pair of eyes, another pair of ears. A lot of data is going back and forth, and somebody with you can maybe take notes or remember something. And if you ever get into a lawsuit, if you ever get into he said, she said, 2 against 1, so you're outnumbered when you go in by yourself. Bring a friend, even if the friend isn't going to give you advice. Having 2 of you there psychologically gives you a little edge in buying a car.
I think Marty's too tough, though. I don't think he'd ever.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Now, last week someone called in and said something about Alpaca's dealer fee being $500. That's not true. It's double that amount.
Okay.
And also they don't put the price of the cars on the windshields anymore. They have a something there that you have to scan to get the price. I don't know why they
like a QR code.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Well, they better not do that on their new cars because that's against the law.
You can't do it on used cars either. It's in Florida. You have to have a sticker on the car.
Well, they do have the window stickers on there, but they have this other thing that you scan to get
the price, right?
Yeah.
Bob, when did you see that a barcode?
Last week.
Last week.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. The dealer fee is twice the amount that the person told you last week. Not $500.
Is that right?
Yeah, twice. Yeah. Well, that's always been there for years. There.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your call and the information that you shared with us. We'll have to look into that barcode thing.
I did have a question for you, Nancy.
Sure.
Do you know what percentage of ASE certified mechanics are females?
Less than 1%.
The percentage?
I just guessed.
A very small number.
Probably lower than that.
I think it's I think it's less than that.
No, it's 1%.
Why do you ask?
1%.
It's 1%. I just thought it was interesting that because there's such a shortage of mechanics, why don't they get more females to become ASE certified to work in the dealerships? I think maybe they should have like a scholarship program or some incentive to get more women involved in that profession.
Yeah,
I think you make a very good point. Back in the day, it used to be a very physical thing, working on cars. Today, it's more of a software thing. So it takes a lot of training and a good brain and an ability to think. And women are equal to men on all those scores. But if you want to go back 50 years, you had a wrench and you're getting dirty and you're lifting things and it was a mechanical sort of a challenge. Now it's more of a mental challenge. But you make a very good point, Bob. I think.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Excuse me. And I'm looking through my information. There is a group of ladies that have their own shop, and they cater to ladies and men. So I think I'm going to continue to look that up because I've forgotten the name of the location.
I have one more thing.
Sure.
I don't think I've ever heard it on the show before. To help someone purchase a car, I'm not quite sure how they would go about doing it, but I've noticed, and we haven't had this situation because of the pandemic and everything. But now that the dealers have vehicles on their lots, if you can find a car that's been sitting on the lot for an inordinate amount of time, that is going to give you a lot more leverage when you go make the deal. But how would you determine that? I know the salespeople know how many days the vehicles have been on the lot, but how would the customer find that out?
You'd have to ask.
It's the one with a dead battery and the square tires.
Right, exactly. It's called a tree growing through the hood. You'd have to ask. You quiz them. Sometimes they like, what's the oldest car in stock? That's a quiz for a sales manager. A lot of them probably wouldn't even know. That's my guess is they won't know. because I don't think most manage their inventories
No,
that well.
that's a good point. And but in normal times, all car dealers incentivize their salespeople to sell the old cars. The older cars have been around for 2 or 3 years, and I'm not exaggerating. There are dealerships that have cars that have been sitting there for a couple of years. They pay what they call commission flats. That's typically it could be $500, even $1,000. Get rid of that old piece of junk, and I'll pay an extra $1,000. The problem is, when you come on the lot, even if you're not looking for a bargain, the salesman is going to tell you that old piece of junk is a bargain because he's going to get a flat commission of $1,000 if the sales manager will accept the price that you're willing to pay. So it's a double-edged sword there in terms of.
Depends on the kind of dealership. Like if you go to a Toyota dealership, their oldest vehicle might be 30 days old.
Yeah, depending on exactly.
But there are some dealerships now that have cars. I know the Ford dealership.
Yeah, we just mystery shopped one that had a 2-year-old new car on the lot.
Yeah, there's some. Well, I'm not talking about 2 years, but I mean there are some dealerships that have cars that have been sitting there for 90 days,
That's
120
very
days.
typical. Yeah.
And something like that, you might have more leverage than if a car just came off the truck.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Even if it's the same exact car, same model, everything. So I'm just saying.
That's a good point.
You're trying to help people shop. If there's a way that they could find out.
Here's something I think that could be done, like in a negotiation situation, which we don't usually recommend. And you're looking for another drop. You say, "Do you have a car just like this that's been here a long time?" You know, I'll take a look at that. Could you get me a better deal on one just like this that's older, and see what they say, because that is in there. I mean, you don't want your inventory to sit, and there is incentive for them to take a lower price on it.
Right. Okay, that's good information. Now, last week you were talking about vehicles that have cylinder deactivation.
Yeah.
And I remember back in the 80s, General Motors came out with a vehicle that was called the 468.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week, I think.
A disaster, along with their diesel engines and the Cadillac Cimarron and the Cadillac Catera and the Alante. Cadillac has had a lot of bad ideas over the years.
You can't.
And I would stay away from that.
You can't blame them for trying.
Definitely. Hey, Bob, that question you asked earlier about female mechanics, that garage is out in Houston. It's called ABC 13 Houston, and there's more than one garage. Not saying in Houston, but in other locations. So thanks for bringing that to my attention. Bob, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Do you have any other questions?
No, I was just thinking maybe the Stewart family could start a scholarship incentive for women.
For women,
yeah, definitely.
Mechanics.
And not only that, but there's these female mechanics are catering to underprivileged. So there's a whole lot of good stuff going on in that direction.
All righty. Well, you guys have a great weekend.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And to the ladies that called earlier, please give me a call back. I promise to prioritize your call. Stu?
Real quick, New Howard asked about the Kia dealership in Orlando. We did mystery shop. Jonathan pointed out to me 2 years ago in 2021, like right in the beginnings of the inventory crunch, and it's a City Kia of Orlando, and the grade's not on the mystery shop, but it's definitely an F, I think. It was the largest markup we had seen over MSRP ever.
Wow.
To date. It was $18,000. Over MSRP. Where was the epilogue? But I don't think it stopped there, right? Because this was in June of 2021. And so the prices continue to rise. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had one with a larger markup. Just scanning through the old report, there was a lot of back and forth. And Jimmy was the sales manager. And it doesn't look like a good report. Yeah. So hope you're listening.
I'd forgotten about that. We shop so many stores.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, we are going to give that number out one more time, or several times throughout the show. So if you don't have a chance to jot it down now, you will later. I'll be mentioning it. That number is 877-960-9960. And you can also text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget your anonymous feedback. We are going to go to Jean in Jupiter, and she has called before. Good morning, Jean.
Hi, good morning. I have a question for Rick, and good morning to you all. I really learn a lot, and I really appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've had Prius since 2013, and, you mentioned Prius to people, or hybrids, they glaze over. They just can't, I don't know, it's like you're talking from outer space. My question is, though, I know there's an engine and a motor and a battery. I understand about pretty much the engine and the battery, but how does the motor fit in with those two other things?
Well, there's actually two motors, and basically they replace the transmission of the vehicle. The electric motors drive the wheels, and they reverse into generators when you're coasting. So basically, they also act as a starter motor to start the engine. So they've got the biggest job of the whole thing. Basically, when you start the car, you put it in ready mode. The electric motors are what powers the car. They drive it down the road using power from the battery. And when the battery starts getting a little bit low and it needs to be recharged, the gasoline engine will start up, and the one motor then becomes a generator, and it produces electricity to recharge that battery. Then when you're driving along and you let off the gas and you're coasting, the other motor will also become as a generator, and it will recharge the battery. And you remember when we had hurricane season and everybody had their generators running, and you'd plug something in and you hear the generator go roar and really run down? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's called electromotive force. It's dragging. So by using that regenerative power, letting that generator create electricity, it actually slows the car down without ever using the brakes. So the great thing is your brakes last a lot longer on the car as well.
Right. I've heard that. Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know the motors, or two motors, did all that.
It's a pretty, it's neat. It's computer controls everything, and it's this neat system of charging and discharging, and it just works together very harmoniously.
A lot more fun car to drive. It's if you haven't tried a hybrid or an EV, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, amazing vehicle.
Plus, if you get a version that's all-wheel drive, they simply add another motor in the back that has two axles going out to the back wheels, and you get all-wheel drive with electric power.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I really do enjoy it. I love the CVT transmission, too. You get in other cars and you hear this and you're like, what's going on? Yeah. Okay, well, thanks. That really helps. I didn't know the motor was that integral part of it.
It's pretty complex, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Jean, thanks for calling, and spread the word. Let the ladies know that we do have a show here and that they are an important part of that show.
I agree. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. We are going to go to Kevin, and Kevin is calling us from Buffalo, New York. I hope that Kevin is right here because it's pretty cold in New York. Mm-hmm. Good morning, Kevin.
Oh, it's never cold in Buffalo here. It's always sunny, warm. When I listen to the Earl Stewart team.
Like San Diego, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, my family was just in San Diego, and it had high wind warnings, and it was below 60 degrees, so it wasn't.
Climate
change.
Anyways,
I have a Lexus GX460, which is obviously made by Toyota. Is there a tool that I could buy to relearn the tire pressure sensors when I rotate the tires? That's for just a homeowner and not a mechanic.
You shouldn't need to, because when you're rotating the tires, the sensors will automatically still be read by the car. And if you're talking about the one where it shows you the location of the tires on the car, that will adjust itself as you drive the car. It may take up to like 30 miles of driving time, but the computer will realize, oh, okay, those tires have moved from the front axle to the back axle. But it will adjust itself.
Even for the spare tire?
For the very few cars that have a sensor in the spare, it'll realize that that one is back there.
Great.
Most cars don't have a sensor in the spare because most of the spare tires are those compact spares that run at 60 psi, and they never bothered putting a sensor in them.
How does sensors work? Are they like a 3G signal? Or is it what kind of signal does it communicate with?
It's a radio frequency signal. I'm not sure what it would be called for 3G or anything like that, but it only has to send that signal just a short distance, like 10 to 15 feet at the most, to the receiver that's usually located on the C pillar of the car, and it's up high so that way it gets a good signal in. And of course, the computer looks at the signals, and it only trusts the ones that are with it all the time. That way it's not getting confused by maybe reading a signal from another car.
That's cool. Hey, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I'm fascinated. Are there any other systems in the car that use wireless communication within the car besides the tire pressure sensors?
Well, you've got Wi-Fi, you've got cell signal.
Besides the infotainment, something like does a component in the engine communicate with somewhere else in the car wirelessly?
Not wirelessly, no.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
The sensors kind of have to because...
Thank you, Kevin. We're having a conversation among ourselves here, but we haven't forgot you're on the phone.
Oh, I didn't forget either.
It's very helpful to me, too, your conversation.
Yeah.
It's all intelligent conversation. I like it.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any other
Thank
questions?
you. I do have a full-size spare tire, so it'll sense it by itself then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, team.
Wirelessly.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Give us a call again.
Bye-bye.
Let's go to Stephen. He's been holding from Stewart. Good morning, Stephen.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
I just want to add something for you, the listeners here. Mullinax Ford, this only pertains to people who live in Florida. Mullinax Ford on North Lake Boulevard in Palm Beach Gardens has no dealer fee.
That's right. 0. And we've tested it. It's true.
Yeah.
They were a pioneer, by the way, Stephen. People think we're the first dealer that doesn't have a dealer fee, no junk fees, but Mullinax pioneered that years before we went over. So I salute him and his family. It's a family-operated group of dealerships. And I think at that time I heard about it. He was had a store in Fort Lauderdale. That's where I first heard about no junk fees. I copied him basically many years ago.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing that, Earl. Also, anybody who's interested in buying a Hyundai can go up to Central Florida Hyundai in Claremont, Florida, which is right in the Orlando area. They have no dealer fees and no baloney when it comes to additional fees of any kind. So you're going to pay MSRP or you're going to get a discount, one or the other.
So that's Hyundai in Claremont. What's the name of the dealership?
Central Florida Hyundai.
Central Florida Hyundai in Claremont.
Wow. Well, I tell you, that's a breaking news bulletin.
Especially for...
No junk fees. What about dealer-installed accessories? Is there anything that they add to the car, like stripes or nitrogen in the tires or anything like that is not factory installed?
Earl, it's been 5 years since I bought a car from them, and when 5 years ago they were adding absolutely nothing at all.
That's fantastic. Central Florida Hyundai?
Central Florida Hyundai in Claremont, Florida.
Florida Hyundai in Claremont, Florida.
Yeah.
Very
Now,
good.
the pandemic and the subsequent supply chain things did a lot of weird things to some dealers. So we might have to go up there and see if they maintain their ethics.
Yeah, we appreciate it. When people call in with good news like that, it's very exciting. I mean, we hear about bad dealers all the time, but the good dealers, like Central Florida Hyundai in Claremont, are a rarity. So thank you very much. And we'll verify that. We'll do a double check because, as you say, it's been 4 years or 5 years since you were there, but we'll verify that and get them on our recommended dealer list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
and
Earl.
also, Stephen, let me mention this. You sound like as if that you could be a volunteer for Earl's Vigilantes. You might want to consider it. And it's educating consumers when it comes to buying a car and servicing a car, anything at all. The people in your neighborhood or the surrounding area. So you can go to Earl on Cars and check out Earl's Vigilantes.
And we'll give you a vigilante hat, too.
Yeah, we'll give you a
All right.
hat.
All right, I'm on board.
Okay.
I'm on their website, and they do advertise no dealer fees still and low upfront pricing. So that's a good sign so far.
Yep, it is.
Well, thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome.
You have a
Bye-bye.
great weekend.
Bye.
Okay, we are sorry about that. They need to make this place larger. Okay, we're going to go to Roadrunner Steve.
Amy.
Good
Hi,
morning,
Steve.
Steve. Welcome. How are you?
He's got a weird connection. Steve, are you there?
Yeah, Roadrunner Steve here.
All right.
Okay, I was up at the Den of Thieves yesterday with my buddy, which is Green Acres Nissan. Okay?
Uh-huh.
So I'm walking around, so I seen a 2024 Nissan Sentra. Manufacturer's retail price, $28,000. I said, okay. So now I look for the crooked stuff. Okay? Market value, $4,999.
That's the adjustment. That's the adjustment.
Right?
All right.
Okay, now here we go. Protection package
Oh, boy.
for $1,999. Tint windows, seat car covers, paint, and door edge guards. So
For not.
from 28 grand, you add on another 7,000. That's 35 grand.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Disgusting.
So my thing is, let's say I go to an Italian restaurant. Hey, I want spaghetti and meatballs. Okay, Roadrunner Steve, the spaghetti and meatballs, we got to raise the price.
Oh, boy.
Well, how's the raising it to? Well, we got to add on $4,999. All right, I'm hungry. I'll eat it, right? Oh, Mr. Roadrunner Steve, would you like a protection package?
Oh,
Sure.
jeez.
$1,999. Here's my protection package.
Hey, Steve,
I get
are you
it.
on Earl's Vigilantes list?
No.
No?
With the protection package for $1,900, the waiter gives me a handful of napkins and a bib, so I don't get spaghetti sauce on my shirt. Listen, how is this for $7,000? I go out and buy a used car.
It's for messy people.
That's quite a story.
That's crazy.
I know, and I thought they're supposed to put, the listing of the car on the side window. They don't do that no more.
They're supposed to. I mean, on new vehicles, that's the law.
In Florida, they don't. I mean, not 100%, but
They have it on the dashboard.
There you go.
yeah, we mystery shop outside of Florida, and all the shops that we did outside of Florida, they have the window sticker where it's supposed to be. But for some reason, Florida thinks they're immune to the law, and they put them in the trunk, they put them in the back seat, they disappear entirely. They just don't care.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, I wanted to take a picture of it, but the eyeballs were on me, right? So I said, yeah, let me write it down. I didn't have a pen, so I see one of the workers, oh, can I help you? Yeah, my wife's giving me a phone number. Can I borrow a pen from you? Yeah, no problem. He gives you the pen, so I take out my pen. I start writing this down. I said, yeah, thank you. Here's your pen back.
Don't worry about using your phone. You can take pictures. Everybody does that. It doesn't mean that you're up to nothing. You can use your phone. Everybody's doing it.
Hey, Steve, thanks for entertaining us.
That's crazy.
I mean, I thought that, that market value was gone. They still doing it?
We've seen it still. I think we saw it recently. It's just maybe they're more willing to get rid of it, because that's what happened on a couple of our mystery shops where it was there and they objected and it went away.
I don't understand that. I wanted to yell out, people, don't buy a car here. They're going to rob it.
That's crazy.
You should picket them.
Hey, Steve, I got calls from all over the country lighting up my X screen.
Oh, the funny thing was, every vehicle in there had the same market value, $5,000. So you went to an upgraded.
Yeah, that should
That
tell
doesn't
you
make
something.
sense.
You go to a low Nissan, $5,000.
Okay.
That was always illogical.
Have a great weekend, Steve.
Bye, Steve. Thanks. Beep, beep.
Thank you. We are going to go to Howard out in Jupiter.
This is the original Howard.
This is OG Howard.
That's the old Howard.
We have
Old
a new
Howard.
Howard.
Hey Howard, real quick. I don't know if you were listening. There is a new Howard, and I have some information for him real quick. He recommended the Central Florida Hyundai. I'm looking on their website on their disclaimers. Their disclaimers look like our disclaimers. It doesn't say anything. There's nothing hidden so far, so it looks like they're legit. We got to mystery shop them. That's the final test.
Yeah.
What's up, Howard?
Yeah, are you talking to me?
Yes.
Talking to the old Howard.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, the old Howard. Okay.
Yes.
Two things I have to say. My friend has a Genesis 2017, and I called up and I told him and said his radio stopped working. So he went to Napleton in North Palm Beach, and they wanted $600 just to check it. Then he went to another Napleton in
Why?
County.
Why? I thought he's your friend. Do you guys ever talk about the show or anything?
No, no, I told him about you.
All right.
And then he went to Napleton in Martin County, and they wanted $300 just to check it. So it's half the price.
God, boy.
Very good.
Your friend's a masochist.
Hey, he's a glutton for punishment.
If you really like Napleton, you should go to Martin County, Napleton. It's cheaper.
So guess how we fixed it, Rick? Guess how we fixed it? He fixed it in 5 minutes.
He
Rick, can you
banged
tell me how
on
he
the
did it?
hood with his hand.
Now, what do you have going on?
The amplifier was not working, and he had no radio signal. And he was able to open the hood and fix it in 5 minutes. or 3
Disconnect the
minutes.
battery, wait a minute, and plug it back in.
You got it. That's what he did. He started the radio started working.
Okay.
Can you
Reboot.
explain, Rick? Can you
Reboot
explain-
works for everything.
That's what we do.
He plugged it and unplugged it and plugged it back in.
Can you explain why that happened?
Yeah, please explain this.
The electronic circuitry inside, the programming got caught in a loop, and so it went into a shutdown mode, and you shut off all the power, it rebooted the system, and everything was good again.
That's why it works on everything.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, I wish it worked on humans. You just unplug a human, replug him in, he's good to go.
I think they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Another question. Rick, what's the advantage and disadvantage of steel wheels?
Uh,
They dent more.
It must be an
Used to-
advantage.
It used to be the big advantage to them was that if you accidentally hit a curb and you bent it a little bit, a good mechanic could actually straighten the wheel back a little ways, and they were easier to balance, and they would hold the balance a little better. But anymore, there's no real advantage, and the alloy wheels just look so much better. The quality on those alloy aftermarket or even factory wheels, they look better. The quality's just fine.
A lighter.
There's no real reason to have steel wheels anymore.
Okay. And another question. Hubcaps. Whatever happened to hubcaps? I
They
saw
go
a
on
car
steel wheels.
2017. No, you're right.
Yeah.
So the steel wheels are gone.
2017
There goes the
family.
hubcaps.
Well, and
With the
if you hubcaps, most of them are plastic, using a metal ring in there as a spring to try to hold them in place. Those plastic tabs, as they come on and off every time you rotate the tires, they start to break. So the hubcaps wind up making noise. They fall off. They're if you look to get just one from the factory to replace one that fell off, they're very expensive.
Yeah.
So most people, I tell them, hey, just go to Walmart and get a set for $40 and put on there. And even then, it's like, again, alloy wheels just look better and they hold up better.
Yeah, but the wall not all cars of different makes have hubcaps. I think Toyota's the only one. Is that correct?
Oh, any car company that that has steel wheels offers hubcaps.
Okay, I got it. So steel wheels are still made by different automobile companies.
Oh yeah, every company still puts steel wheels on some of their cars.
Okay, the LEs all come with steel wheels, correct? Toyota LE.
I'm not sure. I don't think that's accurate, but I do know the lower trim levels are the ones where you're going to get steel
I
wheels.
probably ought to get steel wheels on my Tesla because I'm hitting curbs all the time.
That'd be easier. You can just bang them back instead of replacing the wheels.
I got one curb leaving where I live. When I come out of my community, I hit it about once a week. It's
That's why I drive.
You have to
I heard they're
learn.
going to name that Earl's Curb.
Yeah, Earl's Curb, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for the information. And
You're welcome,
have a nice
Howard.
day.
Thank
Have a
you,
great
old
Go
Howard.
to the festival. Go to the Turtle Fest. They have a festival there.
Oh, is that this weekend?
Outside. It's only today.
Only today.
Not tomorrow.
Okay, get out there.
Only today.
Turtle Fest.
Okay.
Thanks, Howard.
Thanks, Howard. Okay, folks, if you didn't jot that number down, it is 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530.
You know, we haven't given out our YouTube yet. And that's the reason Rick is loafing over here, because that's his channel. And you can stream us at youtube.com/Earl and Cars. In fact, our most informed, educated, really cool
Best looking
followers, best looking, are on YouTube, and they're all Rick's followers. youtube.com/Earl on Cars. Rick will monitor that station, look at your postings, and when we get one, he'll read it. So please go to youtube.com/Earl on Cars.
That's great.
Well, we've actually been having an interesting little conversation on here. Steve
Is that
Miggs,
with Donovan?
Donovan he's here today, yeah. But Steve Miggs came in and he was asking, with modern cars all having video screens and that, what's going to happen when those video screens start breaking and they're no longer available? And believe it or not, that's something that you've heard of built-in obsolescence that we have in a lot of our products nowadays.
Yes.
Imagine that when a car has a video screen that is the proper size for it, and they quit making that particular version, 10 years down the road, when the factory is no longer required by law to be able to produce those parts for that car for replacement, if that screen breaks, you're going to have a hard time finding some company that's going to come in to be able to step in and repair that screen. So my prediction is one of two things. Either a lot of these cars are going to wind up getting sold for scrap because, if the electronics start to go out and they can't be repaired, the car becomes almost useless.
Yeah.
Or we're going to find a lot of aftermarket companies that are going to step in, just like they do with cell phones. There's a lot of aftermarket places that are repairing cell phones.
Yeah.
So as these TV screens and that on these cars start to break and the electronics start going out, companies are going to step up and they're going to fill that gap, I hope.
Yeah. I think there's a whole lot coming in that direction, and I'd like to talk about it, but we don't have time. So I am going to thank John from Palm City, my friend and caller, for holding. Good morning, John. I hope you're still there. John?
Yes, I'm here.
Thanks for hanging on.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry for the wait.
I got a question for Rick.
Okay.
On a car battery, new ones, especially an oddball size, did he ever put one in the car that's brand new and it's defective, like it's an oddball and it's been sitting in a distributed shelf for a long time and it doesn't take a charge? Did you ever run across that?
I have seen that happen even on, and now I'm going to use this term, the Group 24 battery, which the Group 24 refers to the size of the battery, and it is probably the most common size out there. It's like the AA battery of the car world. Probably 3/4 of the cars out there use a Group 24 battery, and I've seen a brand new Group 24 battery that you put it in the car and it fails. There's no product that human beings make that works perfectly every single time, every single one of them. We're human. All these products are made by humans, so occasionally one of them has an issue, and they can fail. That's why we've got warranties.
Well,
there you go.
The good news is there's only two major battery companies in the United States, very big. One is Clarios, which is the former Johnson Control Company. They're the biggest.
Yep.
They make Interstate, Die Hard, Advanced Auto, Optima, Everstar. They make so many of them. It's unbelievable. And they're called Clarios. They bought outright from Johnson Control. Second one is East Penn, which is a Deca battery. They're in Lion Station, Pennsylvania. They make the batteries for Napa, AAA, O'Reilly, Duracell, Duralast, AutoZone, etc., etc.
I didn't know that. Yeah, there's only 2 battery manufacturers in the whole United States? Wow. That's
Some of them are bought in from China, oddball brands, but the major ones are only 2, and people should get the right battery. And instead of looking at the booklet when the dealer that you get the battery from, there's a company which is international called BCI Group. BCI rates the size, like Rick mentioned, 24, which is the most common. They have every size listed with the year of car, or if it's from a truck, a tractor, or whatever. And it's very important that you get the right BCI Group battery. Otherwise, you could have major problems. It could be sitting too high. The case doesn't hold the battery down good. And an example I can give you, my neighbor told me his grandson has a major problem with a Mustang. I said, what's being? Bring it in. I want to look at it. And I looked at it. He took a battery from another car, and it's too high. And believe it or not, it's hitting and shorting on the metal from the hood of the car.
Wow.
So very, very important that you have the proper BCI Group. It's Battery Council International in your automobile. Exact manufacturer original.
Absolutely. 100% correct.
All right. Well, I'm glad that Earl realizes that it's only major, and people have to know that. 2 major companies that make all the lead acid batteries.
Actually, it makes me a little nervous, when you have too few competitors. There are only two companies, and then they have different brands, making you think that each brand is a company. But when you got one company making all the brands, just all the batteries, and just changing the brand name, that's a lot of control they have over price, distribution, quality. I prefer more. I like it when you've got 4 or 5 companies competing. When you only have 1 or 2, that's a kind of a scary proposition.
That's called monopoly.
Yeah, monopoly. Yeah. Okay. Well, how'd you like to have the only car dealership in the United States? I wonder what the junk fees would be in that.
They would just change the name of the brand. That's all. Put different names on it in the same company.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
All right,
Thank you,
guys.
John.
We're waiting. We're looking for that shopping report.
Oh,
Sounds
thanks,
good.
John.
There was an old episode of The Simpsons where they go to see the beer brewery, and they had one big pipe that came out and split into 3 that went into the Duff Light, the Duff Old, the Duff this, and it was all the same stuff just being put under a different name.
Oh.
And that's what these batteries are. They all come off the same assembly line, and they slap a different sticker on each one, and then they give a different price on each one.
Yeah.
And you think hey, this one's big brand name. But it's the same as the one next to it that's $20 cheaper.
Yeah.
You look at the size of the battery, you look at where the terminals are to make sure it's the proper configuration of terminals for your car, and you look at the cold cranking amps on that battery. You want it to be matching or higher than what your factory battery was.
Well, a lot of your auto manufacturers now, when you look at Honda, and then you look at Acura, it's the same manufacturer. So oftentimes you can buy a Honda that's basically the same as an Acura and save yourself several $1,000s. Now, you're not going to get the gingerbread and the bells and whistles, but the basic vehicle. The same thing is true with General Motors, with Cadillac and Chevrolet. Same is true with Infiniti and Nissan, Toyota and Lexus. We always recommend on the show, if you have the luxury model, if you're driving a Lexus, take it to a Toyota dealer. You're driving an Accord, take it to a Honda dealer. You're driving a Cadillac, take it to a Chevrolet dealer. They're General Motors dealers. They can fix Cadillacs and Chevrolets. Save yourself a ton of money because the luxury guy pays twice as much as the guy that bought the Chevrolet. Okay.
Great information. Hey, folks, you want to hear about car insurance? I'll spare you the misery here of the whole article that appeared in the Palm Beach Post. I'll just give you some rates, so hope everybody is sitting down. Florida comes in at $3,945.
Number one?
Number one.
Jeez.
New York, number 2, $3,840. Louisiana, number 3, $3,618. And if you're ready to move, I suggest that you go to Vermont, where the insurance, they come in at number 1. Vermont, listen to this, $1,353.
What's the difference?
And then,
What
if you
causes
want to
the
head out to
difference?
Idaho, you could, yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't
Yeah, I was
it?
saying it's so just there doesn't seem to be like a region. It's like all over the place. You got south, it's expensive. North, this,
Yeah.
everything.
From sublime to the ridiculous. Idaho, they come in, did I say Idaho? $1,421. No, I didn't mention Idaho. And third, Maine, $1,507.
I think I get it. The most beautiful states have the lowest car insurance.
Yeah. And
The ones with lower populations, too.
Florida's a
so
beautiful
if you
state.
think your
No
food bill
people.
is high, take a look at car insurance. And if you haven't taken a look at your policy, I would recommend you do so, because there's always room to negotiate.
I guarantee you, if you've had that same policy with the same company for 4 years and you call, you will get a significant discount just from shopping around.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, if you look into these new policies, there's so many ways to cut costs. So many. We don't even have time for me to mention how many different ways. So take Earl's advice. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. I think it's time to go to the guys. Rick, what do you have for us?
Well, on the subject of batteries, Donovan says very few companies globally make lead-acid batteries anymore, which is a standard car battery. And 80% of each new battery is made from recycled old lead-acid batteries. A good thing for our environment. More brands need to start to move to lithium 12-volt batteries, and we would solve a lot of the battery problems we have today. So many brands have made the batteries so small and are pulling so much more current than ever before, and people wonder why the batteries only last 2 years if you're lucky, which that's very true. And believe it or not, you would think that cold weather states would be harder on the battery, but it's actually not true. The colder the state, the batteries seem to actually last longer. They have to struggle a little more to get your car started in that very cold temperature. But you get down here in Florida with our heat and humidity.
So are you talking about not just car batteries, a 12-volt car battery, but electric vehicle batteries? Are they also last longer in cold states?
I think that might turn out to be true, but that one, we're going to have to wait and see to get more evidence on it.
With lithium.
Because, of course, they are lithium. They're not a lead-acid type battery.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting, though. I mean, because basically the performance is shut down. Basically, it kind of just freezes. It doesn't really it can't store. You don't have a much lower range, so you're not really utilizing the battery. So it's probably getting less, wear. I mean, if I know it's not wear, it's not mechanical wear.
Right. But it's a chemical wear.
Yeah.
Earl and I were talking this morning about the electric vehicle, and there is no way to detect the length of the battery. There's nothing on paper that says, "Hey, listen, the battery is going to wear out such and such."
So if you're buying a
and
used
you've got
electric
5
vehicle,
more years. There's
yeah.
nothing.
Right. You have no real information to go on, just kind of like averages.
As a matter of fact, Donovan just came back again. He says, an EV battery doesn't matter where it is for its overall life because it's temperature controlled by the car.
Oh, okay.
The car can heat or cool the battery as needed to keep it at its optimal temperature.
Donovan, I love you.
Donovan
The guy's
is-
awesome.
He's
A damn
amazing.
genius.
He really is.
I really would like to meet him one day. Just,
When I think
We
of
got
YouTube,
Google,
I think of
we got
Donovan.
AI, and we got Donovan.
Yep.
We'll fly him in for your birthday.
Sounds good.
But why were all the Teslas and all these EVs during that super cold snap running out and this big disaster up there? What was going on there?
Well, and there again, it's that super cold
it was
temperature.
beyond the normal cold.
Yeah,
like the
and
range,
that was
right,
That was an odd occurrence.
Yeah, when you're
which-
45 degrees below zero, I don't think the heater's
But
going
the article that Nancy's talking about is one of the reasons why there's chaos in the used vehicle EV market. Think about it. EV batteries can go for $20,000. So you go and buy a 3 or 4 year old EV. You don't know.
Right.
You don't know how the owner of that car. When did he charge? For example, my Tesla says don't charge it beyond 80% for maximum life. If you charge it 100%, every time you charge it, you're going to decrease the life of the battery. So someone buying my car 4 years from now, they don't know whether I abided by the 80% or not. They might not know where the car was. It could have been in Minneapolis. It could have been anywhere.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. You can only go by averages. Say, well, on average, this car does this, but you don't know if you're going to get a battery.
So how do you know?
Right,
How do you know
exactly.
what the trade-in value is? How do you know what to pay for a used EV?
Yeah, that's what my point was.
Is there a test for a
Stu.
battery?
And
Yeah.
you know what? To replace that battery, the replacement,
A lot of
it
money.
comes in between $5,000 and $20,000.
There's
Rick,
there's a mode in every Tesla to see the battery life remaining. It's in the service menu, and you can run a test that will give you the battery percentage life left.
Oh, who was that?
That's Donovan.
Oh, no.
Come on, Earl. Who do you think had that one right there for us?
Donovan, would you-
Hey.
I'm going to leave this seat. Donovan, you take over this seat. I'm telling you, this guy
Hey,
is a.
I
Do we have
I
his
don't need-
text number or something that we can communicate directly with him?
We do not,
I'm
but
going to
I
be
think I
knocking
can
on
arrange
his
that.
door.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't need Google. I have Donovan. I'm going to have a T-shirt made. Where's Donovan from?
People will buy that T-shirt.
Well, I can't wait to find
Right
out.
here?
It's local.
I find out how much battery
Look at
life I got left on my
Donovan.
He's
Tesla.
standing right
We're all
behind
going to
you.
be at your door.
Well, I know from his posts that he travels quite a bit. I know he's involved in automotive, I think purchasing and selling a lot of
But does
cars.
he travel in our direction?
But I'm also pretty certain that because he knows Palm Beach County quite well, especially West Palm, so I'm quite certain that he is a local.
Oh, really?
It'd be interesting to talk to. Hey guys, we got to go back to the phones. I just lost a call, but Frank has a whole lot of patience, and he stayed right on. And before we go to Frank, ladies, I want to remind you, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Time is tick-tock, tick-tock. It's ticking away. So give me a call. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Frank, what's up?
Hey, good morning. I'm driving, so I don't have a chance. I wanted to send you a cartoon that was hilarious.
Well, we won't stay on long. I don't want to.
It'd be quick.
I don't want
no,
you to.
it's okay.
I don't
Actually-
want you to wreck your car.
No, actually, I'm in line at Costco right now to get gas, so that'll be. I'm not going to be moving for a while. But quick, back to the batteries about saving life. I just noticed something myself on my cell phone. It says if you don't charge it past 85%, you're going to extend the battery life much longer.
There's a setting on your phone where you can go to smart charging where it'll do that. It'll just tap it. Same thing as a Tesla. It tops off at 80%.
Yeah.
My computer does the same thing.
So when I plug my phone in overnight, I'm overcharging it?
Go in your settings, go to battery, and then there's a smart battery savings thing. You turn it on, and it will. I think it comes defaulted to on, so you might.
But it shows a full charge, but it's not really a full charge?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I've got that on.
Yeah, actually, mine will show 85%, which is fine. I don't talk that much. Anyway. I know that's probably surprising you. For every Saturday morning, I don't talk much. But anyway, and about the cold for the batteries, I think that's also an interesting fact too, because I know a lot of people keep their batteries in the refrigerator to extend their life. So there's a lot of interesting facts you brought up. But here's real quick for your dog fanciers. The other day I was in a park, and there's a tree there with a bunch of sticks laying around the tree, and it said dog library. And there was even a little dish there for some water. And then, the sign said, pick up a stick, leave a stick.
That's cute.
Oh.
Where was that?
There you go. That was just a made-up thing that Frank made up for you guys.
Frank made it up. Okay. You invented it. Hey, you should trademark that. The dog library.
Hey, there you go.
Thanks,
Dog
Frank.
library. But anyway, I'll let you guys go because I am driving. But we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah,
All right.
Stay
Thanks,
safe.
Frank. Look forward
Have
to
a
it.
great weekend. We're going to go to Marty, and he is a regular caller. What's new, Marty?
Hi, how are you?
We're great. We were waiting to hear from you.
Okay, I have to disagree with Earl, and it's something that
Hang
you
up on him.
can't
Hang
do.
up on him.
Hey, Marty. Marty,
Yes.
I'm the only one that disagrees with
okay.
Earl. You're number 2 now.
Right, and Stu probably agrees with Earl because that's his father. Now, my point
You don't know
is
Stu
this.
very well.
My point is this. I just negotiated a deal where the car dealer came down over $16,000
Wow.
because the car was in stock. The car was on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, all I'm saying is if you try to do that online, you could never do that.
Did you buy the car?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. What'd you get?
It's a Crown.
Ah, very good.
Wow.
Very good. Congratulations.
Yeah.
My feelings are hurt.
Congratulations.
And I wouldn't have done it except it had everything that I wanted on it, and it had the advanced technology package.
Yeah.
But they discounted the car off MSRP, and they gave me $4,000 more for my car as a trade-in.
Well, where was the 16,000 from?
What they started it.
Oh, okay. So they were
Right.
way over MSRP.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Well, good job,
So,
Marty. How long did it take?
Congratulations.
It was a few hours.
Okay.
Well, Marty, just in a way of full disclosure so that people know, you are a very shrewd negotiator. You're very well informed. You're a vigilante. You've got all the information. And so you can go into a car dealership and you can hold your own. 99% of the people that are buying cars can't handle that, and the ones that can handle it don't want to handle it. You're one of these negotiators that loves to negotiate. So you go in, do battle, you come out invigorated, and say, "Boy, I really had a good time. I beat that salesman up pretty good." But the average person just wants to go in and get in, buy a car, and get out and go home, and not feel like they got taken advantage of. So, if you're a Marty type negotiator, you can go head to head with a lot of these dealerships. Just go in there and spend the day or a couple of days, and if you're really good, you'll get a good price.
Yeah. Well, I think if the car obviously was not on the lot,
yeah,
I wouldn't have. They
It'd be a
wouldn't have
different
been able to
situation.
do it.
Yeah. But when it's
If
there,
I-
that's when they say it's time to talk turkey, and you guys,
Right.
Yeah.
and that's what you did. It's just you have to have the fortitude to do that, and Marty, you
Well,
do.
I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
But
Newer generations have no experience doing this, so like it was way more common. Every family, you had the dad probably did the negotiating and all that, and it was common, and the kids witnessed it. The kids today, and when I say kids, 40-year-olds, 30-year-olds, they didn't grow up with that.
And it's not always just a wanting to. It's you have to have the or not. It's just being able. Having the skill. It's wanting to. Nancy and I. She's a negotiator in the family. I don't like to negotiate. I just don't. It's just not my style. Nancy, if we're going to buy something, I bring her along because she goes in head to head and she can negotiate. So it's negotiating is something that's always going to be some people that are disappointed. I have people now. Here we are at our dealership. We put our lowest price on every car, and sometimes people take offense at it. What do you mean you won't cut the price? And I have my standard retort is, listen, we give you the same price that we'd give the President of the United States or the King of England. I don't care whether you're an important person or a person just fresh out of school or a person that doesn't speak English. We charge the same, our lowest price on every car. And they are insulted by the fact that you mean you won't even give me $100 discount? I say, no, if I did that, I wouldn't be true to my word. I say that's my lowest price, and if I cut $100 to your neighbor and you paid $100 more than your neighbor, you wouldn't like that. So it's an interesting. The negotiation is a dying thing. I think. I think in the advanced civilization we finally arrive at, it won't be a negotiation.
Right. You'll have to go to Morocco and go to a carpet bazaar if you want to get your fix.
Well, I just wanted to say, basically, that's the only thing I ever disagree with Earl on.
I know you did start off with your comments.
No,
with
I
that.
see your
It's true.
point. I see your point.
Hey,
Marty.
Marty, don't make me look bad.
And by the way, listen, we negotiate. We send Agent Lightning out in the field every week, and she does our negotiations
Well, we
for us.
negotiate when we buy for the dealership. I mean, I have a rule at the dealership. You get at least 3 bids. We don't buy anything without at least 3 bids, or at least we're not supposed to. So,
expensive things.
Yeah.
We don't get 3
and
bids
you
for
know,
turkey sandwiches.
I took my trade in to CarMax and a couple other dealers, and they were a lot lower, excuse me, offers that I got from this other dealership. So it was still.
So who'd you beat up? It was Al Hendrickson?
No.
Okay, God, who's got a big markup like that?
Yeah, well.
You can tell us.
Well, I don't want it to go on the air. I don't want it to go on the air.
Oh, okay.
Because I'll probably still do my service over by you. But, you're still the nicest, most polite dealership.
Marty, we're not offended at all, and I'm seriously.
You're not going to get free tires.
You
Marty.
got a better price than we're offering, and that's
true. It's true, and I'll tell you, these tires are big.
Yeah, they're big. You got the soft ones now, so maybe trade them out and get some long-lasting ones.
Yeah, I looked at these. These are 21-inch Michelin, so they're not. I'm sure they're not cheap.
Oh boy.
Wow. Hey, Marty, it was great hearing from you.
Yeah.
You
okay.
always.
So sorry to offend Earl today, but
No, you didn't offend me. No,
He's used to it.
I think you're a cool guy. I like knowing negotiators. Maybe, I used to have a guy that worked for me at the dealership. He probably wouldn't mind mentioning his name. His name's David Silverstein.
He's passed away, so
David.
he doesn't mind.
Anyway, when we buy things, we buy, air conditioners, printers for the dealership, anything that we had to buy. I mean, we buy a lot of stuff. We got a big dealership. So when we got down and this was the best price, I'd say, give it to David Silverstein. David would call, and he'd inevitably, get another 5 or 10% off the price. So I respect negotiators like you, Marty, and I just that's just not the way I deal, but it works for you.
Yeah, and just to let you go, the only thing I could say is the car was still too expensive.
Well,
Okay, thanks, Marty.
Cars.
Yeah,
If you
thanks,
want
Marty.
it, that's it. All right, have a good weekend.
You too. We are going to get to the guys here with YouTube, and we're going to go to Stu. He's got some texts for us.
I got Anne-Marie. She's got a little story for us.
Oh, great. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Once upon a time.
Good morning. I've encountered, and I'm speaking in the first person as if I am Anne-Marie. That's your line. I've encountered poor behavior in car dealerships over the years that resulted in me walking out the door and refusing to buy a car from them. Here are a few examples. I asked to see the dealer's selection of 4-door sedans, and the salesman only showed me 2-door sedans. Goodbye for not listening to me. In 1978, I asked if the car came with a full-size spare, and the salesman told me full-size spare tires were a safety hazard. Of course, he pulled the high-pressure routine, too. Don't insult my intelligence. I'm out of there. The most annoying incident was when I had a contract to buy a new 1978 Plymouth Horizon, which was Motor Trend's Car of the Year, and we agreed that I would have the check from my credit union in hand, and I would pick up the car at noon on Wednesday during my lunch hour. I showed up at the dealership at the appointed time. My salesperson was nowhere to be found, neither was the manager or anyone else. The receptionist couldn't find anyone either. I waited a half hour hoping someone would see me, but no one could be bothered to take the check and give me the keys to the new Plymouth Horizon. So I went back to work. I had been torn between the Plymouth and a Volkswagen Rabbit, and I had to firm out the door prices for both cars. That invisible Plymouth salesman gave me my answer. I went to my credit union, gave them back the check, and had them make a check for the Volkswagen dealer. I called the VW dealer and said I'd come by after work to pick the Rabbit up. It was ready when I got there. They got my money, and I got the car.
Wow.
The Plymouth salesman called my home that evening, threatening to sue me for not buying the Horizon. I told him that neither he nor his manager could be found when I came to pick up the car at the agreed-upon time, and that's why they lost the sale. He became even more argumentative, so I handed him the phone over to my father, who told the salesman off in no uncertain terms. So my question this week is, what is the most outrageous behavior that your mystery shopper has ever encountered? And I don't think anything has happened like that. But then again,
well, didn't someone chase Scott Cadmus out of the dealership trying to get the buyer's order
okay,
back?
yeah, that was the most outrageous behavior that was on our part. We had our service manager go in because we wanted to get a copy of Palm Beach Toyota's buyer's order, and which had eluded us. And he went in, and his plan, he just walked right into the finance office, opened a drawer, where they keep the unprinted buyer's orders, and pulled it out and walked out, and they all chased him, and he just kept walking until the car got in and drove back to our dealership.
Another time, he almost came to fisticuffs with a dealer in Fort Lauderdale.
We had him to do that again because I think we wanted him to get another buyer's order because we were on. That was our mission. We were trying to get everybody's so we could show what the dealer fees were. And same thing here. Somebody encountered him, and it almost got to violence.
How exciting!
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny, Anne-Marie, because I think I am jaded because a lot of the things that we're reading over week after week, we just, we say we grade on a curve, and it's not shocking to us anymore. To a brand new shopper like you in 1978, probably still living at home with your dad, that was a horrible shock. But we're old, wizened car dealers. We've had the crazy thing, the ghost car that disappeared. We've had some very rude treatment. We've had Agent Lighton be told to stop talking and listening, or to look someone in the eye when they're speaking.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that, and obviously just the tactics that car dealers have been doing in South Florida. But we'll think about it. I'm sure you got some stuff in the old days too, not from mystery shops, but stuff that you did.
Yeah, we'll have to think about it. We've done thousands of these, so
yeah,
sometimes it's difficult to recall. We probably should have a third column: recommended, not recommended, and outrageous behavior.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a hard question anyway. It's like, what's your favorite scene in the favorite movie you've ever seen?
Favorite scene?
Well, you got 18 million movies you've seen. You're not going to.
I love the scene, and I love the smell of the napalm in the morning.
Okay, from Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now.
All right, you got a great brain. Mine's not that great.
Yeah.
I got a tech question for Rick from DEC. He got 2 jugs of Super Tech Extended Life. The coolant, it's not pink for Asian cars. Can he use it in his 2007 Lexus RX 350?
You can if you really want to. What I would highly recommend is to drain as much as you can of the old coolant out and try to get as much of the new stuff in. It's going to make a rather unpleasant color in the reservoir, but it should mix in normally.
Okay. And I got one more question. I don't have a name. It's I love the styling and the economy of the old Lexus C2 200H hybrid. That's that little hybrid car.
Mm-hmm.
They are 7+ year old cars now. They've been out for a little while. What should I look out for when looking for a good used model?
The first thing I'd be cautious with, I would get it to a Toyota dealer or a Lexus dealer and have them hook up a scan tool and scan the hybrid system to see if any codes pop up or anything looks out of phase with the data list for the hybrid system. Because I'd be concerned about the batteries.
I was going to say, I've heard you say on this show before that it's really hard to tell how long a Prius battery is going to last. And so we talked about batteries not being able to tell how long EV batteries, but even a hybrid battery. So you also said that you would actually taken and revitalized all the cells in a Prius battery, but nobody else would go through all that time and trouble to do something like that.
Well,
But
that actually was a first gen Prius, so
Yeah.
it was, the technology has
Completely.
leaps and bounds over those first ones of the first days of them, but still, all batteries are going to have a lifespan. That's a fact of life. But I would just have it checked. Make sure they're very careful to check that system over, and just look the car over carefully for any signs of damage.
Are you aware if the Lexus hybrid battery is the same? It's a 10-year, 150,000.
I think that's the warranty on all the Toyota hybrid across the board,
including
for
Lexus.
Lexus as well.
So I would advise the texter. You're going to get a better price on the older ones. Like you said, the oldest ones came out in 2017, and you'll get a better price, but you're also going to have less life on the battery. The battery warranty does follow the vehicle, so if it does have failure within that 150,000 miles in 10 years, then you can get it replaced under warranty.
Right.
But you get too old, you don't want to run into that.
Yeah. But even so, if you do wind up having to replace that battery, the prices on them have come way down. I would be very careful, though, of some of these outside shops that are doing these battery replacements. Check them over carefully and make sure that you get good reviews.
And get a warranty
because
on the
some
battery.
of them can be really shady.
Yeah. And also, finally, look at Lexus dealerships and try and get a certified Lexus. You're probably going to get a better vehicle than if you got it from an independent seller.
Excellent idea.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, are you finished?
All finished chatting.
Great. Okay. How do you like that?
That's a
Okay.
doggy card. What's going on there?
Hey, Big Dog Ranch, they sent us this, isn't this a beautiful card? They
Oh.
sent that to us and they said, we love you.
Aw.
Okay, that's my introduction to Dog of the Month that we have not, we've never done this before. And I came
We'll
across
be back
it.
with videos next week, by the way, folks. Big Dog Ranch is short volunteers, and it takes a lot of time
telling
and
you.
effort to do
Yeah.
the video. So, but we will be back with videos. If you think about it, you might consider volunteering for Big Dog Ranch Rescue. They need volunteers real bad.
Yeah.
But this week, we're going to reenact the video with Rick playing the dog. And let's go ahead. Just kidding.
At any rate,
You're barking
this
all the
is-
time, man.
I was on the Big Dog Ranch Rescue site, and this popped up, and it was the Dog of the Month, and her name is Daisy. Listen to her story. Meet Daisy, a 3-year-old female mixed breed. Daisy's story unfolds from the depths of cruelty, saved by an angel in Putnam County, Florida. 3 heartless figures sought to hang her, but intervention at the 11th hour spared her life. Now sheltered at Big Dog Ranch Rescue, Daisy grapples with shadows, her trust shattered by human cruelty. The leash, once a weapon, is a symbol of her trauma. She needs a patient hand. Whoops, I just lost her. A hand and gentle guide to rewrite the tragic narrative that stains her past. Can you be the chapter of hope in Daisy's heartbreaking tale? And she is just, I don't know, do you have that up on the screen?
I'm getting a picture and sending it to Jonathan right now.
I think Jonathan has it up,
you have it up? Okay.
up on the screen. And there she is. She's so cute.
I have a hard time reading that paragraph there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jonathan, her breed and weight, do you know what that is? Her breed and weight?
I'm going to try and find that
I'm looking for it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this is just a copy, that I have. At any rate, you can go to bigdogranchrescue.org and you can see Daisy and so many other dogs. I certainly hope that you don't find another tragic story like this one, but there are a lot of dogs there. And as Earl mentioned just a minute ago, Gosh, I'll tell you what, they really need volunteers badly. They really do. So if you have a few moments in your day, and you can go out there, it'd be wonderful.
Yeah, they're in Palm Beach County in Loxahatchee. It's just west of West Palm Beach.
And if you haven't heard of Big Dog Ranch, they are the largest in the United States no-kill shelter. So go to BigDogRanchRescue.org.
Looks like Daisy's a 5.5-year-old female cattle dog mix, and I just found her little bio page, and then I just lost it. But yeah, she's like a young, just beautiful dog. She just needs, like they said, a very patient, loving person to help her continue to gain trust.
Yeah, this is just a heart-wrenching story, without a doubt. Okay, if you didn't get a chance to pick up the Florida Weekly, Earl's column appears in it, and it's a great column. Well, they're all great columns. It's hard to pick and choose, but the latest is when, how, who, complaining at a car dealership, and he goes through how to complain effectively. So you want to, if you can pick up the Florida Weekly, it appears in that, and also the Hometown News, and of course Earl on Cars. You can read it there. Okay, we have a mystery shopping report that we have to get to, and it too is worth sticking around for. You're going to enjoy this one. And you can vote at 877-960-9960. And the mystery shop of I-95 Nissan in Riviera Beach.
Well, you can't vote. We're not going to be calling in the votes, but they can.
I'm sorry.
They can text us or we can do it on YouTube.
Yeah, you can text us. That's the first time I've ever done that. 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. There you can text in your vote for mystery shop of I-95 Nissan in Riviera Beach.
Okay.
Now, back to the recovering car dealer.
And as I always say, we grade on the curve. No perfect dealers, so A's are very rare, F's are very rare. We're somewhere in between. I'd like to see the status quo a little higher than it is, but it is what it is. So we have to have a recommended list, and if they're on the recommended list, they don't have an F. Look for an A, but you probably won't find one. You'll probably find a B or a C, and you just have to settle with that. So this dealership at Nissan is in Riviera Beach, Florida. Speaking as if I were the agent Lightning herself, I arrived early in the morning and was greeted by 4 men. Wow. All but one stood up as they saw me walking through the door. Ahmed smiled, introduced himself, and asked if I was there for anyone special today. I said, I don't have an appointment scheduled, but I'd like to know more about the car I saw online that shows special pricing. Okay, here we go. Online advertising. I told him about the new 2023 Nissan Rogue SV advertised on their website. It had an MSRP of $34,420 and a huge $6,833 discount. Now, that's what the advertisement said. So I hope the Federal Trade Commission is listening. This is an advertised price for a $6,833 discount. By the way, as another little aside, beware new cars. This is a new 2023. In case you haven't checked your calendar, this is 2024. You know, when you buy a new car that's been sitting on the lot for a year, it's just about the same thing as buying a used car. So if you're not buying and getting advantage of the depreciation on that car, then you're not getting a good price. So new is only... Look at the calendar year. That's very important. It might technically be a new car, meaning that it hasn't been titled yet, but that doesn't mean anything 3 or 4 years from now when you trade it in. Okay, continuing on with the mystery shop. The salesperson said he'd be happy to help me, walked over to his desk where he pulled out a chair for me to sit down, asked if I'd like anything to drink, coffee, tea, or water. He then asked to see the car I was looking at on my phone. He looked out the front windows and asked, "How'd you get here today?" I don't see any cars in the parking lot. I said I was dropped off hoping to get this online pricing and leave with a car. He said he liked that. I bet his eyes lit up. I got a hot one here. I got a live one. She got to have a
She
car.
got no wheels.
No wheels.
He looked at the ad on my phone and asked a series of questions about there. And then if you click on that, it says what's required to get that price. I clicked the disclaimer link and saw that the $6,800 discount included 2 expired rebates.
Nothing made sense, and it didn't have the military in there at all. It just said,
yeah. So here, this is so bad. It's actually getting me a little nauseous. I mean, not only are they lying, but they're even not.
Their disclaimer isn't even a disclaimer.
Their disclaimer is they're not even lying efficiently. I hope the Federal Trade Commission listens to some of this stuff. Combat auto retail scams. You're looking here at an incredibly perfect, actually imperfect, because they screwed up their scam. But this is the kind of thing the Federal Trade Commission is trying to target with the CARS, Combat Auto Retail Scams regulation that's supposed to go in effect on July 30th, but the Texas federal judge has put it on hold because of the Texas Automobile Dealers Association and the National Automobile Dealers Association. But I just hope someone's listening. This is not untypical in car dealerships, especially in Florida. So I said, well, it clearly shows an online price of $27,587. He then suggested that he could show me something closer to my price range. I said, no. What you advertised was my price range. What you tried to sneak in on me isn't. That's an ad lib. I said, no, I want to see pricing for this. I didn't say I couldn't afford it, but I was looking for a deal. I told him to forget about going on a test drive at this point and asked him to please just show me the numbers to buy it. He went back inside, said he'd be back with the numbers. I sat back down. Ahmed left, returned 2 minutes later, sat down saying he needed to get a bit more info to get the numbers. He said the finance company was Nissan Motors Acceptance Corporation, NMAC. And one can't get both special financing and online pricing, even though it was advertised to the contrary. So the advertising is totally deceptive and illegal, and I can't say enough negative about their ad. It was just the ultimate worst of the worst. Illegal. He then pulled me up in their system again to confirm my address and left again. A few minutes later, he returned with a worksheet and said, I'm pretty sure you're going to like these numbers and be happy. Trying to pacify me now. How could I be pacified after this? He then turned over the paper to show me my deal. Top line was MSRP, $34,420. There was a $5,833 discount. He highlighted the adjusted price of $28,587, highlighted that, okay, and said that was what I was paying for the car. I mean, you got to think I'm mentally retarded. Then he highlighted the out-the-door price of $35,681.15. He didn't highlight the $1,973 appearance package. There's a junk fee, dealer-installed accessory. The $287 taxable fees, another junk fee, or the $999 dock fee, which is another junk fee. My real price was actually $31,846, which represented a $2,574 discount from MSRP. Now, remember, it's a year-old car. It's a new car in name only. It's a year old. So in the sense that it's below MSRP, it's a pretty good deal. I'd say it was a pretty good deal if it was a current model new car, but for a year-old new car, I don't think it's a good deal. But a far cry from the $6,833 advertised discount. I mean, why isn't this guy in jail? I mean, you advertise a $6,833 discount, and it's not the case, and he's getting away with it. I mean, he's selling these cars. That's the reason that, of course, I came in the dealership in the first place. I asked, what's this appearance package? Here we go. He said, that's standard for all their vehicles. I said, this is the first I'm hearing of it. Of course, it wasn't the ad. He went on to say it comes with door edge guards, lifetime window tint. Whose lifetime? Interior protection against rips, tears, spills, and also car washes. Of course, the car washes mean you got to come back to the dealership, and if you're lucky, they might wash your car. You live 30 miles away, you're going to drive 30 miles for a car wash. I asked him if it could be removed from the price. He said no. I said, okay, thank you. I appreciate your time. He asked me to please wait here a moment so Ken, his numbers guy, could come talk to me. I texted my husband to call me to get me out of here. He called me, and I kept my phone in my ears. I walked towards the door. Ken reached me before I escaped. And that's the way you feel when you go through something like this. You got to get out. You got to escape. He extended his hand for a shake and asked how I liked the numbers today. And I said, if my man Ahmed took, I didn't want to know if my man Ahmed, this is the sales manager talking, took good care of me. I said I wasn't thrilled. I continued speaking on my phone to my husband with my iPhone glued to my side of my head as I walked out. So there you have it, boy. That's a classic bait and switch, illegal. I can't think of enough negative things to say
It reminds
about
me
this
of the pre-pandemic type of shops.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I-95 Nissan in Riviera Beach, Florida. That's in Palm Beach County, adjacent to West Palm Beach, and it's just off of I-95. I-95 Nissan, and I'm pretty sure that is a Terry Taylor.
Yeah,
story.
I think
Terry
so.
Taylor, yeah.
After investigating, we finally uncovered that,
Yeah.
I think.
So we'll be looking for your votes. We vote on the curve, and if you're going to give an F, this is about as bad as you can get. If you're going to give an A, and I won't even explain that because you know it's not an A. So I don't want to poison the votes here, but vote your conscience. But remember, we do vote on the curve.
I have a vote in from Anne Marie, F for illegal behavior. I was thinking about the same thing, and wondering if I could make a standard of mine. If there's something obviously illegal, do I automatically fail them? Even though there's a lot of illegal stuff going on amongst all the car dealerships, but this is particularly egregious. I'm going along with Anne Marie. I'm going to fail him. That's my grade, and I'm going to refresh my screen. I might have another grade coming in, but I know Rick's got a bunch over there, I'm sure.
We are having a little technical difficulty right now.
Oh no!
We lost one channel, and we do not have our live feed right now.
Oh dang it! Okay, well, what do you think?
Rick?
Give me just a second. Okay, wait a minute. I got votes.
I'm live.
Okay, here we go.
It's back up.
Mark Smith, I give the dealership a D-. Pretty good. Ridiculous. Tim Gilliland, this one's easy. A big juicy F. Brian Sidlatko, I'm going to give him an N for never buy a Nissan. False advertisement. Tom Steckel, D. Year-old model, and the Rogue is one of the most overstocked models. Too many add-ons and junk fees. No nitrogen saved them from an F. Tom Steckel says a D. So, see who we got else here. Mark Smith also says, if I'm going to buy a Nissan, I'll use Carousel Nissan in Iowa City.
All right, we got to Mr. Shop them.
Joseph Kelleher, F. Deceptive advertising and junk fees. For me personally, I don't want to go with the nuke option, so I'm going to give it the D-.
Okay.
Just to say, hey, you're going to fight tooth and nail against them.
We're watching you, I-95 Nissan.
Yeah, but we can't, like we say, we don't really want to give anybody the absolute F or the absolute A. unless they really, really deserve it.
I'm gonna say I was definitely influenced by Anne-Marie. She came in there real fast. Oh, Jonathan gives them an F. Jonathan on the coast. That's very cool. And we also have another F here. Who sent this here? I don't have the name on this one, but F. My people say F.
Well, now this shopping report makes you realize why Terry Taylor doesn't want people to know he owns these stores, because he have to be very ashamed of this. And I don't believe the guy really. I mean, the guy's a he just bought a home in, where was it? Was it Palm Beach or somewhere around here for $35 million? I mean, the guy is. He's got more. He's the largest private owner of car dealerships in the world. And so he's got so many of these things going. He keeps his name off of it. You really have to.
Very smart.
Yeah, very smart. But this is, I would see he has deniability, I guess, of this illegal action, and it's just a shame. I mean, I don't care. He owns it. He's responsible. Right? You might have too many dealerships to watch and take care of, but shame on you. That's your fault, not the customer's fault.
Yeah.
And for the customer to have to go through this in your dealership that you own and you take profits from, I think is wrong. Nancy, well, what do you think about it? Need I ask?
His house was paid for by appearance packages.
I'll make this fast. We have 3 minutes left. I hope everyone read Open Letter to Marco Rubio and Rick Scott. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Earl has been working with the Federal Trade Commission, talking to them about this CARS rule. And this CARS rule, the CARS stands for Combating Auto Retail Scams Rule. And he has been working constantly, feverishly, and he's trying to get this passed. And what a shame. You know, Nissan in Riviera Beach, I'll tell you what, this is just awful. It's just awful. I would give them something less than an F if that was possible, but I have to give them an F.
We talked about a G, I think, last week.
We did. We created a new category.
Something of this. With this.
Where are you going? G plus.
Well, I'd like to give them something, but I can't do it on the air. So for that,
You're the Navy widow today.
there you go. Okay, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. And Earl, did you vote?
Oh, F. I'm sorry. I was so verbal during the report. I didn't think I even needed to. But that's an F. And like Sue said, if we had another grade, maybe we should have another grade, because that's the worst report I can remember in a long time.
We'll have to work on that.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. You're an important part of this show, and you tune in every single Saturday, and we so appreciate it. Have a beautiful weekend. We'll be right back here on the Oldies Channel.